Welcome, everyone, to Mind Matters, where we explore the fascinating intersection of science and the human experience. Today, we're diving deep into the history and science of depression, tracing our understanding from the late 18th century to the cutting-edge neuroscience of today.
That's right, Molly. We're going to journey back to 1775, a pivotal year not just for American history, but also, in a small way, for the history of mental health. Imagine Dr. Benjamin Rush, a prominent physician and future signatory of the Declaration of Independence, observing a patient displaying some very concerning symptoms.
A seasoned sailor, I believe, fresh off a long voyage, yet suffering from what Dr. Rush termed melancholia. But this wasn't just a case of the blues, was it?
Not all. Rush described a profound apathy, disturbances in sleep, and, crucially, an inability to experience pleasure. Today, we'd likely diagnose it as a major depressive disorder.
And what's particularly interesting is Rush's perspective. He was deeply influenced by the burgeoning field of chemistry and suspected a chemical imbalance at the root of it all.
Exactly. A deficiency, perhaps, in some undiscovered element within the body. He was thinking chemically even before we truly understood the complex chemistry of the brain.
Fast forward 2 centuries. Our understanding has exploded. We now know that depression is linked to imbalances in neurotransmitters, chemicals like serotonin and dopamine.
These neurotransmitters, Molly, are incredible. They're intricate molecules built from basic elements: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. And they act as messengers, facilitating communication between billions of neurons in our brains.
Billions. It's mind-boggling. Each neuron, a tiny electrical powerhouse, firing impulses across synapses, the tiny gaps bridged by these neurotransmitters.
And this is where the physics comes in. Think about the electrical potential difference across a neuron's membrane. It's meticulously maintained by ion channels, governed by sophisticated protein structures. It's a delicate balance, crucial for neural transmission.
So, a disruption in this intricate electrochemical system, a failure in those ion channels, or a neurotransmitter imbalance that can have a cascading effect.
Precisely. It can ripple through the entire brain, impacting mood, cognition, and behavior. It's a reminder that our thoughts and feelings, our very experience of the world, are ultimately rooted in the physics and chemistry of our brains.
Welcome everyone to Mind Matters, where we delve into the complexities of mental health. Today, we're exploring the historical and scientific journey of understanding mental illness.
That's right, Molly. We often forget how far we've come in our understanding. The shift from superstitious beliefs to scientific understanding is truly remarkable.
Exactly. We're going to discuss how early interpretations of mental illness, often rooted in superstition and religious dogma, gradually evolved into a more scientific approach. Imagine attributing mental illness to demonic possession versus understanding its biological basis.
It's a stark contrast, and the development of brain imaging techniques like fMRI and PET scans has revolutionized our ability to visualize brain activity in real time. We can now see the neural correlates of mental illness with astonishing precision.
It's like peering into the inner workings of the mind. We can observe how imbalances in brain chemistry affect brain function, providing concrete evidence to support our theories.
It's not just about depression. It's about a wide range of mental health conditions. Understanding the intricate dance between biology, chemistry, and physics within the brain is crucial.
Absolutely. It highlights the complex interplay between our genetic predisposition, environmental factors, and the delicate chemical and electrical processes that shape our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Understanding these mechanisms is not only vital for diagnosing and treating these conditions, but also for appreciating the extraordinary complexity and resilience of the human mind.
It's a story of scientific progress, Jason, a testament to the power of human inquiry in unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. We've come so far, but the journey continues.
Indeed. And that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time on Mind Matters as we continue to explore the fascinating world of mental health.
Welcome everyone everyone to Brain Matters. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of neuroscience. Jason, ready to explore the intricate pathways of the human mind?
Absolutely, Molly. I'm eager to unpack this. I've been reading about Anya, a neuroscientist who transitioned from astrophysics. Apparently, she found the human brain even more complex than the cosmos. Fascinating, right?
Incredibly so. She's currently mapping the biochemical responses to a new anxiety medication. It makes you think, doesn't it? We're not just talking about feelings here. We're talking about measurable chemical reactions.
Exactly. And the story doesn't start in a modern lab. It goes way back to ancient Greece. Hippocrates thought mental illness was due to imbalances in humors, blood, phlegm, and bile.
Primitive by today's standards, of course. But what's important is that he recognized a physical component to mental health, laying the groundwork for future study.
Right? Fast forward centuries, and chemistry gives us neurotransmitters, the brain's messengers. Anya's anxiolytic, for example, targets GABA.
For our listeners, GABA is a neurotransmitter that inhibits neuronal excitability. Basically, it calms things down in the brain. So, Anya's trying to enhance that calming effect.
Anya uses a great analogy. She describes the brain as a city of neurons, constantly communicating through electrical and chemical signals.
And here's where the astrophysics background comes in. She points out that these signals obey the laws of physics. Every thought is governed by energy conservation and momentum.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? Even something as simple as reaching for coffee involves this intricate chain reaction. Electrical impulses, neurotransmitter release, each step precisely timed.
Measurable in milliseconds, governed by the same forces that keep planets in orbit. It truly puts our understanding of mental health into perspective.
Absolutely. The journey to understanding the brain has been long and arduous, and it really highlights just how much we still have to learn. It's a humbling thought.
It is, but it's also incredibly exciting. Thanks for joining me today, Jason. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to Brain Matters. Hello, and welcome to Mind Matters, where we delve into the fascinating world of neuroscience and mental health. Today, we're tracing the incredible journey of understanding the human mind, from its darkest misconceptions to its most promising breakthroughs.
Exactly, Molly. It's a story filled with both horrifying missteps and inspiring leaps forward. From trepanation, the ancient practice of drilling holes in the skull to release evil spirits, to the brutal treatments of the asylum era, the path to understanding the biological underpinnings of mental illness has been littered with misinterpretations and misguided therapies.
It's hard to imagine the suffering caused by those early methods. But let's fast forward to the present, where researchers are using cutting-edge technology to unlock the brain's secrets. We'll focus on the work of a fictional neuroscientist named Anya, who is dedicated to revolutionizing mental health treatment.
Anya's research utilized advanced neuroimaging techniques like fMRI to visualize brain activity in real time. These machines, marvels of modern engineering, detect subtle changes in blood flow, providing glimpses into the intricate workings of the brain.
The data revealed a fascinating interplay between different brain regions, a complex dance of activation and inhibition, showcasing the brain's astonishing plasticity, its capacity to reorganize itself in response to experience.
Her team was particularly interested in the amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure deeply involved in processing fear and anxiety. By understanding the precise biochemical pathways involved in amygdala activation, they hope to develop more effective treatments, not just masking symptoms, but addressing the underlying neurobiological mechanisms.
This wasn't about magic potions or mystical cures. It was about harnessing the power of scientific understanding to alleviate suffering, one carefully calibrated molecule at a time. The hum of the lab, once just background noise, now seemed to Anya a rhythmic pulse of progress, a constant reminder of the vast and ultimately knowable landscape of the human mind.
It's amazing how far we've come, but it's also important to remember that even brilliant minds can experience cognitive struggles. Let's shift gears to another time and place.
The year is 1776. Benjamin Franklin, amidst the fervor of the American Revolution, experiences a peculiar phenomenon. His normally sharp mind, the engine of political maneuvering and scientific inquiry, feels sluggish.
We'll explore what might have been going on with him and how modern neuroscience could potentially shed light on historical figures and their mental states after a short break.
The year is 1929. Imagine Hans Berger, a German psychiatrist, hunched over a primitive device, a contraption of wires and electrodes. Today, we delve into the fascinating connection between neurochemistry and cognitive function, starting with a historical figure, Benjamin Franklin. He attributed his fatigue to overwork, a reasonable assumption given the relentless demands of forging a nation.
Exactly, Molly. But now, with modern neuroscience, we understand that Franklin's experience, though unnamed at the time, offers a glimpse into the intricate dance between our brain's chemistry and how we think and feel.
Let's break down the basics. His brain, like ours, is a marvel of biological engineering, relying on a delicate balance of neurotransmitters. Can you elaborate on what these are, Jason?
Certainly. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers like dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. They zip across the synaptic clefts, microscopic gaps between neurons, relaying information incredibly fast. They're essentially the language of the brain, each with its own specific role.
So, dopamine is about motivation, serotonin regulates mood, and norepinephrine keeps us alert. How might this relate back to Franklin's fatigue?
Well, his fatigue, viewed through a modern lens, might be explained by a depletion of these vital neurochemicals. The relentless stress of the revolution, a physical manifestation of immense pressure, likely disrupted the intricate homeostatic mechanisms within his brain.
So his body, constantly reacting to the fight or flight response, prioritized immediate survival, diverting resources away from neurotransmitter production. It's a powerful example of the interplay between physical and mental states.
Precisely, and it highlights how stress impacts cognitive performance. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the advent of neuroimaging techniques like fMRI allows us to visualize this process in real time.
The fMRI lets us see the intricate network of neural pathways lighting up as someone engages in complex thought. It's an incredible tool for understanding the brain's inner workings. Welcome, everyone, to Mind Matters, the podcast exploring the fascinating world of neuroscience and its impact on our well-being. I'm Molly.
And I'm Jason. Today we're diving deep into how our understanding of the brain is revolutionizing the way we approach mental and emotional health.
It's incredible, isn't it? We can now pinpoint the precise regions of the brain responsible for memory consolidation, problem solving, and even emotional regulation.
Absolutely. The technology unveils the brain's stunning complexity, a system far more intricate than even the most sophisticated clockwork mechanism envisioned by Enlightenment thinkers. It's mind-blowing.
And it's not just about the physical structure. Even the physics of the brain plays a crucial role in our understanding of mental well-being.
Exactly. The flow of ions across neural membranes, fundamental to neural signaling, is governed by principles of electrochemistry and thermodynamics. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're the physical underpinnings of our thoughts, emotions, and behavior.
So, the brain is essentially a biological computer, processing information through an intricate interplay of electrical and chemical signals.
Precisely. Understanding this complex interplay, the biology, the chemistry, the physics, and even the history of our understanding, offers a powerful framework for appreciating the fragility and resilience of the human mind.
It really emphasizes the crucial role of maintaining a balanced lifestyle. Things like sufficient sleep, managing stress, and fostering a healthy diet all contribute to the optimal functioning of this remarkable 3-pound organ that defines our existence.
Speaking of history, let's take a moment to travel back in time. The year is 1879.
Ah, yes. Wilhelm Wundt, a young German physiologist, opens the first psychology laboratory in Leipzig.
This seemingly small act, a collection of meticulously calibrated instruments in a modestly sized room, marks a profound shift in human understanding.
Before this moment, the study of the mind was largely relegated to philosophy, a realm of abstract thought and reasoned argument. Wundt, however, sought a different approach.
He wanted to apply scientific methods to the study of consciousness, essentially trying to break down mental processes into their basic elements. It was a revolutionary idea at the time.
He believed the mind, like the body, was a physical system governed by observable laws. A revolutionary idea at the time.
Absolutely, Molly. And his tools? Simple, yet revolutionary. A metronome, precise to a fraction of a second.
Exactly. It allowed him to study reaction times, measuring the speed of neural transmission, the electrical impulses, the tiny bursts of ionic charge zipping along axons, creating the very fabric of our thoughts and perceptions.
This was the marriage of psychology with biology, a union that would forever change how we approach mental processes. He was using physics, specifically the precise measurement of time, to understand a biological system, the human brain, which in turn expressed itself psychologically.
Consider the metronome's rhythmic tick-tock. It's a predictable, repetitive signal, mirroring the rhythmic firing of neurons, the electrochemical dance underpinning everything from basic reflexes to complex cognitive functions.
And this rhythmic pulsing isn't just electrical, it's chemical. Neurotransmitters, molecules like dopamine and serotonin, are released, acting as messengers, their intricate interactions influencing mood, motivation, and even the very structure of neural pathways, the physical roads on which these electrochemical messages travel.
This was the inception of the understanding of neurochemistry, showing the profound connection between our biology and our mental state.
Think of the chemical structure of these neurotransmitters, the precise arrangement of atoms, the bonds holding them together, the subtle shifts in their configuration influencing their activity.
It's chemistry at the most fundamental level, dictating our experience of the world on a level far beyond our conscious awareness. Truly groundbreaking work. Welcome, everyone, to today's exploration of the human mind. We're diving deep into the fascinating interplay between molecules, behavior, and the very structure of our brains. Jason, ready to untangle this intricate web?
Absolutely, Molly. It's a journey that takes us from the fundamental laws of physics to the complexities of human consciousness. A wild ride.
Indeed. And it all starts with the molecules, right? How the shape of a molecule, dictated by those physical laws, determines its interaction with receptors in the brain. It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
It is. And it's not just about the immediate effect. Consider the legacy of Wilhelm Wundt and his Leipzig laboratory in 1879. Measuring reaction times might seem like a simple experiment, but it set the stage for a revolution in understanding the mind.
Exactly. Wundt's work wasn't just an academic exercise. Its implications ripple through history, impacting everything from the treatment of mental illness to the development of psychopharmacology, using molecules to influence brain chemistry, to the creation of cognitive behavioral therapy, retraining the brain's neural pathways to the design of educational systems that recognize the limitations and capabilities of the human mind.
The simple act of measuring a reaction time in a Leipzig laboratory in 1879, using physics to illuminate biology to understand psychology, fundamentally altered our relationship with ourselves and the way we approach the mysteries of the human mind. The journey from that small laboratory to our current understanding is a testament to the power of interdisciplinary scientific inquiry and its ongoing exploration of the intricate relationship between mind and matter.
It's a powerful reminder of how far we've come, and also how much we still have to learn. To illustrate this point, let's rewind to 1949.
Ah, yes, a pivotal year. Set the scene for us, Molly.
The year is 1949. A young woman named Rosemary Kennedy, sister of the future President John F. Kennedy, undergoes a prefrontal lobotomy. This radical procedure, aimed at alleviating her behavioral difficulties, involved severing connections in the frontal lobes of her brain, a region crucial for executive function, planning, and personality.
The surgery, while common at the time, offers a stark illustration of our evolving understanding, or rather, misunderstanding of the brain's intricate architecture. It highlights the risks we took when our knowledge was more limited.
Precisely. Before the advent of neuroimaging techniques like fMRI and PET scans, our knowledge of the brain was largely inferential, based on observations of behavior after injury or disease.
So we were essentially piecing together the puzzle with very few pieces actually in hand. It's a sobering thought.
Welcome, everyone, to Mind Matters. Today, we're stepping back in time to the year 1879, a year that quietly revolutionized our understanding of ourselves.
That's right, Molly. It was the year Wilhelm Wundt, a German physician, opened the very first psychology laboratory in Leipzig. It might sound like a small event, but it was a monumental shift.
Absolutely. Before Wundt, the mind was largely the domain of philosophers, a space of speculation. But Wundt brought something new, the scientific method.
Imagine this meticulously organized space filled with chronometers, reaction timers, all set up for carefully designed experiments. He was applying the rigorous process of observation, hypothesis, and experimentation to the human psyche.
In a way, he was treating the mind like a physics problem, seeking measurable and quantifiable data where previously there was only conjecture.
His focus was on structuralism, a kind of mental chemistry. He wanted to break down consciousness into its basic elements, like breaking down a complex molecule.
He meticulously timed the speed of sensory perception, measuring the lag between stimulus and response. It wasn't about the meaning of the experience, but about its raw, measurable components.
The brain, in Wundt's view, was a complex biological machine, operating under predictable laws and open to scientific scrutiny. A revolutionary idea at the time.
Fast forward a century, and our understanding is vastly different. We now know the brain isn't just a machine, but an incredibly intricate network.
It's a network of billions of neurons, each a tiny biological battery, constantly firing off electrical impulses.
And these impulses trigger the release of neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine across the synapse, the tiny gap between neurons.
These neurotransmitters are the language of the brain, dictating everything from our mood and cognition to our most basic physical functions.
Hello, and welcome to Mind Matters, the podcast that explores the fascinating world of the human brain. I'm Molly.
And I'm Jason. Today, we're diving into the electrifying story of how we discovered the electrochemical basis of our thoughts, emotions, and actions.
Our journey begins in 1785 with a rather peculiar observation. Picture Luigi Galvani, a physician, meticulously dissecting a frog's leg.
And suddenly, the leg twitches. Not just a little tremor, but a violent convulsion when touched by a scalpel. Most people would probably chalk it up to something supernatural.
Exactly, but Galvani had a different idea. He reasoned that this wasn't magic, but rather the result of an electric current within the frog's nervous system. He had stumbled upon something groundbreaking.
That's right. It was a pivotal moment.
Welcome, listeners, to Science Through Time. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, the science of sleep. But we're not just looking at it from a modern perspective. We're going back in time to see how our understanding of sleep has evolved.
Exactly, Molly. We're starting in 1775 with none other than Benjamin Franklin. Imagine him, already famous, not drafting the Declaration, but meticulously tracking his sleep. Hours, the dream quality, the impact on his day. He was a pioneer, unknowingly practicing what we now call sleep hygiene.
It's incredible. His anecdotal observations foreshadowed centuries of scientific advancements. We now know sleep isn't just a passive state. It's a complex biological process.
Absolutely. Take non-REM sleep, for instance. Glial cells, often overlooked, spring into action, clearing out metabolic waste from the brain. It's like a cellular cleanup crew, crucial for preventing diseases like Alzheimer's.
And we can understand this through the lens of physics, the diffusion and transport of molecules across cell membranes, driven by concentration gradients. It's all happening at a fundamental level during our sleep.
It's mind-blowing. Then there's the chemistry. Melatonin, the hormone produced by the pineal gland, regulates our sleep-wake cycle. Its release is influenced by light and dark, a perfect example of our internal clock interacting with the environment.
Think of it as a finely tuned circadian oscillator, responding to external stimuli, a beautiful interplay between biology and physics.
So, fast forward to the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast where we'll delve into the fascinating world of sleep. Jason, did you know neuroscientific imaging techniques like fMRI are now allowing us to map brain activity during sleep with incredible detail?
That's amazing, Molly. So what are they finding? Are our brains just shutting down?
Quite the opposite. The hippocampus, crucial for memory, is actively replaying the day's events, strengthening neural connections, and transferring information into long-term storage. It's like a sophisticated data compression algorithm, explaining why a good night's sleep significantly boosts cognitive performance.
Wow. So sleep isn't just downtime, it's active maintenance. So this blend of psychology, biology, and even computer science, it really underscores the importance of sleep for learning and problem solving, right?
Exactly. And the quest to understand sleep isn't new. Think about it. Throughout history, societies have grappled with the mysteries of sleep and wakefulness.
That's true. Even the ancient Greeks recognized the impact of sleep on our well-being, despite lacking our modern scientific tools.
Precisely. Their observations, though limited, highlighted a fundamental truth. The intricate workings of the brain and body are inseparable from our cognitive and emotional states.
So, by